Out of my face. You're blocking my view. Shut up. Stop talking. Just go the hell away. All the world needs is me. I got my values. So you can keep yours, all right? I don't get people. Never have, never will.
The World Ends With You. Man, what a game. I just got around to playing the original DS version back in early January after so long, and from start to finish, I just fell in love with it. The characters and how they clash with one another, the music that fits the setting well, and a story that makes you think. Think about how you perceive the world. What do I mean by that last statement? Well, you see, this game's story and its themes around it make it weird that this came out in 2007. Why? Because those themes are now more relevant than ever after more than a decade of its initial release. And I'm going to talk about it because this game deserves some love, and it also gives me an excuse to talk about this game. There are a couple of different variables that I'm going over in this video, that being correlations between societies, character personalities, brands, and music. Some of these points are likely going to blend together due to the nature of the topic at hand, but I'm going to be as precise as I can with this, as analyzing this type of subject matter can backfire real easily, I feel. Now sit back, relax, and without further ado, here it is. The World Ends With You, and its commentary on society. In The World Ends With You, you'll come across different events that you've probably seen at least once in real life or on the internet. Famous people and influencers turning something into a trend or making it popular by simply saying something like, "It's good," or "Buy this because I like it." Not as vague as that, but I think you get the point. I always saw this like a shepherd and sheep situation, where everyone follows the shepherd because it's in their instincts too. Naturally, you can see this in people too. They don't want to be left out of the crowd or made fun of because they don't have that hot new item. So they follow the crowd, even if they've had no connection to that particular thing or know what that even is. A great example of this is on the third day of the second week in the game. There's a new ramen shop that opens up in the Dogazaka area, which everyone seems to want to go to. You go to investigate and ask people questions about the shop. You'll get answers such as, because it's the most popular spot in Shibuya. The prince wrote a post about it on his blog. The 5,000 yen price is a little painful, but after this, I can tell all my friends I ate here. And totally, the prince said it was great. When your partner asks where else you go to for ramen, the person will say, I don't know. Noodles aren't my thing. I barely ever eat ramen. There's a couple things I want to point out here if you didn't see it already. So number one, the shop was relatively new, and it only got popular because a bunch of fans followed what the prince said on his blog post, even though they don't eat ramen. Number two, people you talk to say it's good because he says it's good. They don't give it their own opinions on the food there. And number three, even when they're spending a painful amount of money for ramen, they're going to use that as bragging rights to say that they ate there. I've seen this happen a lot on YouTube, where influencers will make a deal with a company saying that it's the greatest product they've had, and their impressionable audience will flock towards that. Sometimes the influencer doesn't even like or hates the thing that they're promoting, but it will greatly benefit them. You actually see this later on in the chapter where you hear the prince say to the owner how he can't take the ramen anymore and how he wants to end the promoting of the product. He's tired of playing the puppet in all of this, and it's pretty obvious when you watch the argument unfold. There's manipulation at play here, that's for sure, but that's how things have been for a long time. Many companies will make contracts with people that grab lots of attention and push the attention towards the thing they're trying to sell you. This makes you think the true intentions of all parties involved, and it really shines here. Now, there are probably other games out there that did the same thing, so let me know of games you know that did something similar in the comments. Alright, it's time to show a major aspect that makes the game stand out.
One, two, three. Tell me who you are, who you were, how much have you been paid?
While playing this game, I couldn't help but see myself in people who I know in real life in these characters. They come off as stereotypes at first, but they have many more layers to them. Think of an onion. When you break it apart, you can see they have different parts to them, feeling endless. Neku, for example, comes off as an angsty emo kid who doesn't want to make connections with people. But as you advance in the story, you get an inkling as to why that is. And he learns that everyone is just as lost as he is, and also learns to be more trusting and cooperative with those around him. Me and many of my friends, co-workers, etc. are at that point where we feel lost and don't know what to do. Especially now with the internet, where there's many more people that you will probably know say that you need to act a certain way or else you won't be able to succeed. But you know what? While I'm at it, I'll go ahead and mention the other characters in the main cast as well, just so we have different examples of different perspectives. Shiki feels inferior and useless to others, thinking that she's not good enough. Thus she beats herself over everything she does, even if it's something minor. Joshua comes off as condescending, but is really just lonely. He chooses not to interact with people sometimes due to him feeling that they're all shallow. Beat's a tough guy delinquent who pushes people away to not be pitied by them. Comes off as very aggressive, but is really just being protective of Rhyme. Rhyme is just really trusting of others and wants to help in any way she can. She's not really in the game for that long, and I couldn't find much on her other than when we see her. Sorry, Rhyme fans. Everyone I just listed aside from Rhyme are shown to be lost in their own way. Even though they seem like one thing on the outside, really they're hiding their insecurities and shortcomings that they have on the inside. They don't want to bother anyone with their problems. Their humanity is shown in full force, and people don't understand that concept about other people until they witness them firsthand. You can't just fit people into a stereotype. The sad truth is, that's how we as humans work. Our impressions on people come from what stands out the most in that person, and we make judgments based on that stance we made in our heads about said person. Really though, they are just like us, where they have their own struggles in life. Many people, especially nowadays with social media being the giant that it is, are having these very issues that I just listed and talked about. Seeing themselves as inferior to one's famous/rich person's post. Believe me, I've had that problem growing up too, and I never addressed it with anyone because I didn't want to bother them with my problems. But now I've grown not to care about that. You shouldn't feel sorry for yourself, but just because you aren't there yet. You haven't realized how to work on your insecurities. Everyone has that time in their life. You just need that first step to get where you want to be. You can see this with the characters in The World Ends With You. They are taking their first steps to get out of their comfort zone, and it paid off in the long run. It's not always easy, but nothing is ever really easy. If you feel stuck, believe in yourself, and reach out to someone. We'll guarantee that you'll get there.
Music demand. Morning rays, years and cranes, turn to the west, the west, the west. The honest, there wasn't a dream. Bells society, unity, cornets beaming.
You seen the foundation, holding up a ragged nation. You know it in your mind, what it's like and how it lies. You want the right.
You know when you glance at people while walking around and see all different types of brands they're wearing? In some cases they actually like the clothes that they wear, or in other cases they seek attention for how cool they look, staying on the trend of mediocrity. Why does this happen? Well, some people are exposed to this sort of style in some way, whether it be from street style, through celebrities, fashion bloggers, or just social media in general. Doesn't matter if a particular style is new or old. Many people see this from the circumstances that I named and either love that style and have a new recommendation, or try to emulate it to, again, seek attention and not be the odd ones out. This correlates to my first point in the video about similarities between societies. Sorry that I'm repeating myself here, but it's true. A good example for this, the Prince, again, whatever he posts that he likes, that will become instantly popular with fans. Then that will spread to people who want to emulate that style to get cool points. He has the clout to do this sort of thing, and it's not out of the ordinary in our society. It then becomes a race to see who can get this one brand first, which will result in fights, bootlegging, etc. Maybe this is just a me thing, but I don't see the appeal to that. Some people, not all, but some asked why I didn't wear stuff like Supreme or Gucci. I would tell them that I thought the brand was a dumb investment, and then I would just get flamed by not buying into the hype that was the brands, which I find idiotic to me. But then again, I get hyped up whenever a new game or a character I liked is announced, so I sound like a hypocrite in that case. Before I keep rambling, let's quickly go over how brands and trends are implemented into this game. So when the world ends with you, you have your different clothing options that will add like your standard equipment, like any RPG. And you can put up to 4 separate pieces of clothing on each character. Then there are your pins, which act as your attacks in battle. Depending on what brands that pin is from, you will have different types of attacks, which will spice up the gameplay as you go along. Now here's where the trends come into play. When you pause the game, you will see your map of all the areas in the game. Each area has their own trend of what is the most popular and what is not. It's also randomized every time you leave an area or reset the game. Depending on what you have equipped, it can either give buffs or nerfs. I find this a cool touch, and I definitely see what they were going for here when designing the system, although I usually just keep the same stuff on all the time, because they were the most powerful items. Alright, I think that's a good summary. Let's move on to the final section of this video.
Horrors yet unknown. Morning rays, years and cranes, turn to the west, the west, the west. Honest, there wasn't a dream. Bells society, unity, cornets beaming, sound flows, flow through the home, drowned by the poverty.
Music is arguably the most relatable source of media out there that can captivate the hearts of many people that are listening to it. There are some genres of music though that usually stand out: rock, hip-hop, electronic, and pop. These 4 are usually the most common genres that you'll hear in your daily life. Going to stores, parties, listening to the radio in your car, or even streaming the music on your device. It's a powerful tool to change the mood of a scene. It can also be one of the main factors that will either make or break the mood that you're going for. The World Ends With You uses these genres, mixes them together, and makes something unique out of them. The Persona series does this too, but you get my point. It gives that sense of familiarity, therefore giving you some kind of connection to the material you're experiencing. It's really fascinating how a game can make that powerful realization. You would be surprised at how well some of these tracks can fit in the settings I listed. The escapism music provides plays a huge role for the individual within society. Take Neku for example here. A main aspect of his character design is his headphones. He constantly uses these headphones to shut out any noise or interaction with people around him. This also ends up isolating him from the society he lives in. This idea is later flipped on its head when Neku takes off the headphones at the end of the game, giving him a satisfying character arc. You know what? Now I'm wondering how he was able to talk to everyone through the game. Did he turn them off? Anyway, let's get back on topic. This parallels with many people today. This is mainly seen in teenagers though. Some people just simply don't want to interact, and that's fine, but there needs to be some form of communication you have to have in your life. Take it from an introvert here when I'm saying this. You'll ultimately grow as a person by not isolating yourself from your surroundings. Hell, I made the friends I still have because I put my foot down and started interacting with people. Even if I came off as polarizing or socially awkward. I help you take it when I say this to heart. If you haven't already, I would highly encourage that you get the soundtrack. It will blow your mind and how well that everything is composed. I put it up there with both Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future soundtracks. It is definitely recommended that you wear some earbuds or some headphones for the full experience. The World Ends With You has now become one of my favorite games of all time. The experiences that you go through in this game are honestly amazing. It's not a perfect game by any means, but so is society, and life in general. You can see that with what's going on right now, but it's not all doom and gloom. Because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just gotta expand your world and push your horizons as far as they'll go. Knowing it in your head doesn't mean much if you don't act on it. And remember everyone, the world ends with you.
Same streets. Same crowds too. Yeah. Shibuya hasn't changed a bit. But still, I don't think I can forgive you yet.
Hello everyone, thank you for watching my video on The World Ends With You. It took me so long to make, you have no idea. If you have anything that you want to discuss about or point out if I missed something, please, leave a comment. I really like having discussions with people on a deeper level with different topics, and this one's no different. Also, it would really help to get my video out in the search results. By the way, I just want to thank all of the new people who subscribed for my last video. Seriously, it's insane how many people came to watch that video. It was almost 4,000. That's insane. I'll keep working hard for all of you watching. But until next time.